It is the end of the work week and time to take a break and of course take stock of the week that was. A very good evening to you, our dear viewer. Thank you for tuning in. I am Karanja Daniel, ready to bring you up to speed with all the news causing waves across the globe. And as you know, we are all about business. Here is a glance of the news making headlines in the business world.
I'm very happy to be here. It's a momentous day for BK Group as a company.
Bank of Kigali cross-listing on the NSE, placing a bet on the NSE.
Globally, 1 out of 3 women and girls experience physical or sexual violence.
Regional Conference for Women Justice Actors, upholding accountability. Toast to the tourism sector gala. Stakeholders under one roof. Bank of Kigali Group PLC has today cross-listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange NSE. Established in 1966, Bank of Kigali Group is the largest lender by asset base in Rwanda. It has diverse interests in banking, insurance, and investment and becomes the first Rwandese company to tap into the Kenyan capital market. Our reporter, Karari John, was present for the auspicious occasion and brings us the reports.
The Nairobi Securities Exchange is a principal security exchange in Kenya, a founder member of the African Security Exchange Association and the East African Security Exchange Association. NSE is also a full member of the Association of Future Markets and the World Federation of Exchange, and also a partner exchange in the United Nations Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiatives. Today, Bank of Kigali cross-listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, making it the second company to cross-list on the Kenyan capital market after Umeme Limited, Uganda's main electricity distribution company. Speaking during the cross-listing ceremony, NSE Chief Executive Geoffrey Odundo noted that the cross-listing enhances regional integration.
And it's an occasion and a demonstration of your support to the development of our local markets. We've just been having a conversation around enhancing our integration in the region, and you've really pioneered that initiative. The capital markets plays a vital role in expanding opportunities for fostering broad-based economic growth led by a robust private sector. This notable listing marks the first entrance of a Rwandan company into the Kenyan market.
Reiterating his remarks, NSE Vice Chairman Bob Karina highlighted the benefits that Bank of Kigali and NSE will acquire from the cross-listing.
We are honored that the Bank of Kigali is cross-listing into a market. This will play a pivotal role in growing the bank's liquidity and gives it a better ability to raise capital in a larger and more diverse market. The listing of the Bank of Kigali will also facilitate cross-border investments and financial integration, as investors will be able to access and invest in the Bank of Kigali shares through the NSE. Investors in our market will also benefit from the bank's revenue streams from its various business segments and its growth prospects. Additionally, the cross-listing will grow and expose the bank's stock to foreign, retail, and institutional investors who make up to 65% of the total investors in the NSE, hence increase the quality of investor base and mix.
Chief Executive Officer, Bank of Kigali, Dr. Diane Karusisi, said how the group is honored to be the first Rwandese company to be cross-listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
So I'm very happy to be here. It's a momentous day for BK Group as a company. We look forward to doing more business in the region And we can only commit today to deliver two very exciting results that we are promising to our investors. And we'll be coming to Nairobi more often to meet our investors and tell them that we are doing well and that we are participating in the exciting growth opportunities of our country, Rwanda.
While the chairman, Bank of Kigali, Mark Hotzman, expressed his excitement at being in Kenya's capital market.
And now we love what you're doing in Nairobi because we will have more access to liquidity, we will have Western custodial services, all of which this market offers. So I'm here today to say that I am so proud of this company, of our leadership, the team led by Diane, and thankful to all of you here for making this the greatest new beginning for us when we start trading in a few moments. Thank you so very much.
With the Bank of Kigali cross-listing to the Nairobi Security Exchange, making it the first Rwandan company to tap into the Kenyan capital market. These rubber stamps that Kenya is on the move and the growth of the capital market space in Kenya. Reporting for Bram Plus TV, I am Korari John Wamburger.
The International Associations of Women Judges Kenyan chapter today held a regional conference for women justice actors on knowledge sharing, creating partnerships, and combating systematic impunity towards gender-based violence at Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi. This is in an effort to ensure a gender-based violence-free Africa.
The chief guest of the event, Justice David Maraga, in his opening remarks painted a visual picture of the state of gender-based violence across the globe, with women consisting a majority of the victims.
Nevertheless, allow me to restate some alarming statistics recently reported by the United Nations that further underscore the importance of the discussions, the deliberations, and outcomes of this crucial forum. Globally, 1 out of 3 women and girls experience physical or sexual violence in their lifetime, most frequently by an intimate partner or neighbor. Worldwide, almost 750 million women and girls alive today were married before their 18th birthday, while 200 million women and girls have undergone female genital mutilation. 71% of all human trafficking victims worldwide are women and girls, and 3 out of 4 of these women and girls are sexually exploited. It is in this context that this is a deplorable state of affairs, that this crucial conference is being held, and as jurists, and especially women jurists, you are at the front line in devising policies and strategies that can significantly improve this grave situation.
Delivering a speech on behalf of Professor Margaret Kobie, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs, was Cabinet Administrative Secretary Honorable Rachel Shebesh, who said as much as there is a war waged against gender-based violence in the country, there are a couple of factors that continue to fuel this vice.
It is unfortunate that even with these measures in place, there remain persisting gaps and challenges in the prevention of and response to GBV. These challenges include the normalization of GBV in the community, lack of knowledge on service providers on GBV, persisting harmful cultural practices and social norms that advance GBV. This contribution to challenges in prevention of GBV and inadequate protection of GBV survivors, including pre-trial, during trial, and after trial. Challenges persist as pertain to the access to justice for most of the GBV survivors. Slow prosecution of GBV cases due to either poor investigations or lack of proper preservation of evidence, which is supposed to support GBV cases, absence of legal aid to the survivors, and inadequate capacity and resources to law enforcement agencies that would enable them to effectively discharge their mandate. Most of the GBV cases are hindered by community stigma, lack of reporting, poor investigation and prosecution of cases, challenges with the prevention and collection of evidence, which leads to slow adjudication of GBV cases. These challenges include economic factors, which lead to survivors withdrawing their cases from court.
As a result of gender-based violence, Honorable Shebesh noted that a lot of resources and time go into recovery.
The consequences of GBV are grave. Apart from GBV survivors' human rights being violated, they have to direct their resources in seeking medical, legal, and psychological services. Family members of GBV survivors spent a disproportionate amount of time and resources to secure reprieve for the GBV survivors. At national level, GBV has an effect on the Kenyan economy, as working hours are lost and financial resources are directed towards mitigating the cost of GBV. A study undertaken by the National Gender and Equality Commission on the cost of GBV revealed that GBV accounts for 46 billion Kenya shillings, which is 2% of our gross domestic product.
As a result, the government is putting in place measures to curb gender-based violence and equally working on setting up a gender-based violence recovery center across the country in every county.
These include development and adoption of requisite policy, enactment of pertinent legislation, provision of technical support, and capacity building of service providers and advocacy campaigns aimed at creating awareness. The ministry, in partnership with the Ministry of Health and county governments, hopes to operationalize gender-based violence recovery centers in Kenya. Recently, during the launch of the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, celebrated in Kilifi County last week, we operationalized the Kilifi GBVRC Center. The recovery centers shall ensure that there is improved accessibility and response to the needs of GBV survivors.
Lady Justice Hannah Okwengu, Chairperson International Association of Women Judges Kenya chapter, equally added that as a measure to curb gender-based violence, there must be a systematic way of dealing with abuse by holding the perpetrators accountable.
We are looking for effective ways in addressing the systemic impunity that facilitates violence against women and children. We believe that a society tolerance to abuse of women and children must be deplored. We believe that all actors and duty bearers in dealing with GBV cases, including the community leaders, must be held to account.
As the country continues to celebrate 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, it is clear that we still have a long way to go, and the women justice actors want to make sure that the conversation is carried beyond the activism period. The government, on its part, has launched a helpline 1195 for gender-based violence victims to reach out for help.
But I want us to remain constantly with the definition of what gender is.
Now on that women empowering note, let us head for a short commercial break, but do stay with us as we still have more stories lined up for you on the other side, including a toast to the tourism sector. So do stay with us. Welcome back to the most comprehensive, exclusively business news bulletin. Thank you for staying with us. And now let us shift gears and talk matters business reporting. Strathmore Business School, together with Business Advocacy Fund, through an ongoing partnership, hold policy briefings for business journalists in an effort to build their capacity. During its third briefing held today, matters blockchain and fintech and their implications on business and society took center stage. Our reporter Daisy Wambua was present and filed the following report.
When they tested using blockchain, the cost was a fraction.
Speaking during the briefing, former Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, Professor Bitangi Ndemo, highlighted how fintech can improve efficiency and called upon African leaders to put more focus on ICT infrastructure.
Fintechs would help us to reduce or be more cost effective in terms of dealing with emergencies. That cannot happen if governments cannot build infrastructure, because if every Kenyan has a mobile phone, you can help that Kenyan by sending money and they're buying something in that place, and you get them to eat and other things, then you can come make other interventions. And this is what we've been arguing before, that the most key thing that Africa needs to do is to build the ICT infrastructure across the country.
Much as there is great traction in the adoption of fintech by medium and small enterprises, a gap still exists, and he went on to warn those that are yet to do the same, pointing out it could lead to their demise.
Most companies are going to die. I mean, as I speak to you today, they will die because the trend, we are not seeing the trend. You have Uber, the largest transport company, which has no car. You have Airbnb, the largest, hotel accommodation, which has no bed, doesn't have a bed anywhere, but is the largest. You have Facebook, the largest media, which does not write even one sentence of media content. Yeah? You have Skype, the largest telco without infrastructure. In this country, if you read the newspapers and try to see the trend, about a month ago, James Mwangi, Equity, said if 90% of our lending is on the mobile, why do we have the branch network? What was he referring to was that we want to build the largest bank, which you don't see a branch. You actually don't need a branch.
Planting trees, but not just any old tree.
He went on to outline the advantages that fintech accords businesses.
The advent of these fintechs, they have created greater inclusivity that we never had before. Inclusivity in the sense that some of us, somebody would ask you for money to buy something somewhere. I no longer get asked to come to go to the village for Harambee. They say, we are meeting here, you can M-Pesa your Harambee, you know. This is the inclusivity that we are talking about.
On a continental scale, he pointed out that fintech and blockchain bears greater promise for Africa than the Western states.
When you hear artificial intelligence, when you hear blockchain, it is not for the Western world. It is actually for Africa, and this is my argument. We have, I think, one doctor for every 100,000. If we use artificial intelligence well, we would be able to serve our patients in a much better way than you could have them served in India. Why? Because AI has consistently done better in terms of diagnostics than human beings.
If the policies are not right.
On her part, Atri Shah, a fintech expert, emphasized the need for financial service providers to offer affordable products to MSMEs so as to support their growth.
I think we get a little bit complacent when we say, oh, a market trader can take a 5,000 shilling one-day loan and pay 75 shillings at the end of it. Well, that's not a loan, that's extortion. So I think I'm sort of challenging financial services companies, and I think you as journalists should also be trying to find those companies that are looking for affordable, innovative products to what is effectively the engine of our economy.
As the country continues to find its footing in the fourth industrial revolution, it is critical that the masses are not only informed but well equipped to take advantage of the emerging technologies, while at the same time safeguarding themselves from the socio-economic shocks that these technologies may present. For Bram Plus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
Kenya Tourism Federation, the umbrella body of players in the tourism private sector, hosted stakeholders to a gala celebration yesterday night at the Tamarind Tree Hotel, dubbed a toast to the tourism sector, a sustainability agenda. Here's a report on how it all went down by our reporter, Karari John.
Cultural songs and dances were a major highlight of the evening, a testament to our rich heritage. The patrons adding a touch of elegance to the atmosphere thanks to their outfits, and the venue, Tamarind Tree Hotel, playing complimentary to their efforts.
Listen.
The Toast to Tourism Sector Gala, hosted by the Kenya Tourism Federation, was hosted by tourism sector leaders and key decision makers from both the public and private sector. Members of the diplomatic corps representing some of the key source markets, including USA, Germany and Netherlands, as well as captain of related industries. With Kenya having successfully hosted the first ever Sustainable Blue Economy Conference this week, the plastic ban was top of the agenda. And speaking at the event, Chairman Kenya Tourism Federation Board, Mohamed Hesi, had this to say about the matter.
The plastic water bottles, that's the next one. That also has to go. It's causing so much damage to Mother Nature. Ask yourself, how are we operating 20 years ago? And those things will last for millions of years, destroying the ocean. For those of you who dive, please try, or even snorkeling, go to the coast and you'll see the damage. Massive amounts of plastic in the ocean, which has led to bleaching of the corals. The beautiful corals that you see on cliffs and name it, from purple, yellow, blue, whatever, have all become white like that tablecloth. It's worrying, big time. Barrier Reef, I think 45% have bleached. Kenya is also badly affected. So that should concern all of us. And we have seen the benefit of banning plastic with the recent rains in Nairobi, that flooding was not as bad as in the previous years. But we still have a long way to go. And as tourism players, we'd like to see tour companies, hotels coming out to say, you know what, we are plastic free. We will not be giving water bottles in plastic.
This gala dinner. On his part, the Vice Chairman, Kenya Tourism Federation Board, Fred Odek, went ahead to point out the reason behind the gala night.
We are here to celebrate what tourism has done from January to date, the challenges they've gone through, and the hope that they keep that we can do better as a country, as a people, and as businesses. At a time like this, last year, it was all gloom. Today, we are looking at a situation that makes the country look for a better future.
Climate change is no longer a myth, but a fact. And Dr. Geoffrey Manyara, Senior Regional Tourism Advisor, United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, was empathetic that for the tourism industry to be sustainable, there should be focus on climate change and its effects.
What we have in terms of when you talk about climate change and things like that, and things that are changing, conservation is the right approach, ecotourism and things like that. That is the right approach. And I think as we go into the future, you're saying the population is growing, so the numbers will have to be reduced. We have resources in Kenya that are almost slightly endangered to the point whereby our neighboring countries are blocking or putting stringent measures not to access because of what we've done with some of our resources. So we really need to address this if you thinking about sustainability.
Equally, Jonah Orumoi, Managing Director, Tourism Finance Corporation, added his voice to the climate change debate.
With our facilities in the national park, with our facilities everywhere, how green are our facilities themselves? I think I want to thank Serena have done a fantastic job in Savo, where they have been able to have a facility which is really run by solar panels throughout. And this is really an excellent move. There's no use of fossil fuel. There's no use, and they are able to manage their waste. How do we really do that? Because that's all goes back to the environment issue. How can I be able to say that by the time I finish my investment, I'll actually leave this environment in a better place or a worse place? And can someone else come back to this site and pick this site knowing that what is my contribution to this site? And that's the question we need to ask ourselves. What is a corporate social responsibility versus the investment I'm putting? And how do I feel? Is the local community just feeling like a partner towards investment, or are they just a facilitator for you to achieve what you want?
Richard Ndiga, Sustainability Manager, Serena Hotel, challenged the attendees to diverse.
I think the first thing also we need to look at is our business models in the tourism industry and see how can we embrace diversification, how can we embrace what with our colleagues are talking about, how can we embrace innovation. We've got a lot of stuff happening in Kenya. For those who actually watched the interview with CS and Richard Quest, and Quest actually has the same question in terms of, if you look at West Africa and South Africa, what difference do you have when you come to tourism package as opposed to East Africa? And the much you could say was actually the authentic part of it, which is actually quite true, very authentic. But I think for us to move on and be ahead of the pack, we really need to look seriously in terms of how our business model works.
The tourism sector remains to be a key driver of our economy, and with key stakeholders being keen on their role in ensuring its sustainability, it's evidence that its place as a key contributor to the economy is not about to change.
And the host and everybody who has been...
All we can do is to raise a glass and toast to the sector. Reporting for Brand Plus TV, I am Korari John Wambugu.
With that tourism note, let us now take a look at how the markets performed today. Here is a summary. Now, that is just a summary of how the markets performed, but for more in-depth analysis of the same, tune in on Monday morning at exactly 8 a.m. for my next big bet with me and my co-host Rachel Nderito. Now, if you're looking to travel this weekend, let's take a look at how the weather will be. Well, that's it from our business news desk for tonight and for this particular week. But do make sure you tune in on Monday at 9 p.m. for a fresh serving of news making headlines in the business world. Well, from us here in studio, from our producers and all people involved in production of this particular news, do enjoy yourself and have a lovely weekend.